In the last few minutes available to us, I want to look at this Mark Zuckerberg letter, because it is extraordinary. And what he's done is just been released, so it's hot off the press. He's basically, and probably no surprise to some people, he's admitted that the Biden-Harris admin pressured him into censoring Americans. He was basically down volume, if you like, on things about COVID. He also was told to throttle the Hunter Biden laptop story. Now, we've always suspected this may well be the case, and it's freedom of speech, but not freedom of reach, and that's how they sort of throttle these stories. What's your take on that, Pele?
Well, yeah, sure. I mean, it could have changed the election, and Twitter famously censored it. It was the original laptop story was published by the New York Post. You had 51 intelligence operatives also engaging in election suppression. Top deep state guys in America saying this was a hoax. That was appeared in the New York Times. So it wasn't just Facebook that downgraded it. That then Jack Dorsey's Twitter did, and the New York Times and so on. It could have made a difference in the election if you judged by what people said in the polls. They would have switched votes, they probably would have done. And if you look at the Putin interview with Tucker Carlson in February, I think it got 50 million views on X. Say huge reach, 100 times what an FT article would get. But it only got 10,000 views on when it was put out on Facebook. So that censorship was in play back in as recently as February. But as I said, I'm noticing that Zuckerberg's opened up Facebook much more. Things I've been posting from my X account onto Facebook, which would have been censored, no point, are getting a lot of hits. But anyway, so maybe he's having second thoughts. He's saying in a letter to Jim Jordan, a Trump-supporting head of the House of Representatives Judiciary Committee. In 2021, senior officials from the Biden administration, including the White House, repeatedly pressured our teams for months to censor certain COVID-19 content, including humor and satire, and expressed a lot of frustration with our teams when we didn't agree. Ultimately, it was our decision whether or not to take content down, and we own our decisions. Now, the point is, I'm convinced with all the vaccine skeptics I've had on my show that there's a very, very strong case for the vaccine, at the very least, to have been ineffective. Whether it actually kills people, that's a moot point, but it's certainly not conspiracy theory. I'm really convinced about that. And the fact that they censored that, and they censored the whole ivermectin thing, which definitely was a working solution. I mean, we're talking about millions of deaths here. So who are we're talking about criminal content, and that's what the Securocrats in London are talking about. Child pornography, illegal incitement. But I mean, here we have censorship that if we hadn't had censorship, we could have opened up the discussion on ivermectin and saved literally millions of lives, So that's how free speech can actually save lives. It's not just an indulgence to speculate about what's going on in Brigitte Macron's crotch, Yeah,
no, you're absolutely right. And Zuckerberg, he's actually expressed regret for not being more outspoken against the government's pressure, saying that Meta aims to maintain content standards without political interference. Basil, last word from you.
Well, yeah, I mean, Facebook deleted posts criticizing the vaccine. It also deleted posts suggesting that COVID, such as it is, was developed in a Chinese laboratory, even though that theory has now been supported by so-called mainstream scientists and government agencies. It is this whole sort of, corporate media mainstream stranglehold on the narrative and attempts to strangle anybody outside that's central to the freedom of speech issues. Telegram would not delete posts that are critical of the vaccine, the lockdowns, or speculating about where COVID came from. Facebook did. That's why Durov's been arrested. Zuckerberg wasn't. Zuckerberg says he's going to push back against this in future, but the damage has been done, hasn't it?
You make some excellent points. Well, Pele, Basil, it's been an absolute pleasure as always. As I say, here on the Muckrakers, we continue to shine a spotlight where others don't. I've got some great guests lined up. We're going to be joined again, as I say, by Elon Musk on Thursday. So do follow us at Andrew Eborn, at TNT Radio Live for more information. And if you've got suggestions as to areas where you would like us to shine a spotlight, do get in touch and let us know. But for me, for now, thank you very much for joining us. I will look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. Take care.